You're such an asshole.
I'm going to do a separate video because the client originally had a video. He's dating a good Christian girl, and then she cut off all the emotion. They weren't having premarital sex. They were following the rules, but she cut off all emotion and intimacy because he wanted to hang out with his buddy. And then, she started going to church 4 times, and all the signs were there, this being a lying, fake, manipulative bitch. I said, break up with her. He did. Thank you very much for following my advice. Things started going better. But then she used his credit card to buy a bunch of shit. So the good Christian girl, stole money. Which I'm going to promote. This is, I don't want a threesome with Jesus, AKA Christian women aren't really Christian women. They just want to use the Bible as a means to excuse not having sex, and they want to steal your shit. Maybe that should have been the subtitle. Maybe that would have been more on task. But anyway, let's go. Let's continue to his new request. Hey, Cappy, I was the one who requested this video, and I think I mentioned that I left the girl in some other email. I told her she was never going to see me again and dropped off her stuff at her place that same day and disappeared. Good for you. The next and only point of contact that would have happened is she used my credit card 2 weeks after the breakup without my permission. Why does she have your credit card? Dude, you're paying for it and you're not getting laid? Wow. But I just told the bank I didn't authorize it and stayed gone. Anyway, the request is now as follows. I'm 33, no debt, living with parents at a STEM field, and been trying to be a minimalist to throw whatever I have either in the stock market and buying a house. Good for you. I go to the gym regularly and have a pretty active social life. My only issue is now, how do I meet more women? Stop. Okay, I know you got a social life. I know you go to the gym. You're still a pussy. Okay, you are putting women first. You got to stop it, man. They are arguably the most important thing in a person's life. The opposite sex, love, family. You need to stop making them idols. Really, I mean, you're a Christian. You need to stop idolizing them. You need to go and live your own life and become a good man and an excellent man, of which you're doing things to achieve that. You need to lose some baby fat. I'm not going to lie to you. I look at you like pussy. Now, you are taller and bigger than me, probably could kick my ass, but you just got the soy boy millennial face. I'm like, pussy. You need to chisel up. I don't know if that's possible. A lot of people have a young face that plagued me for quite some time. That's just optics. It may not be who you are deep down inside. And you ask at the end, can girls smell desperation like I just... Yes! Stop putting them at the center of your life. Especially when there's very few to go around that are worth shitting on. Not that I'm into Dubai. I use that as a metaphor, phrase. How do I meet more women? You stop by trying to meet more. You stop by making them the number one thing. Really, who's more important, God or the women right now? That's an honest question, man. Part of this relationship, I really didn't have to do much or anything. They would just come up to me on social networks. I don't know if I'm getting greedy and expect to pick back up from where I was at before I left the relationship. No, I think maybe you're more, I don't want to say picky. You're more an educated consumer. Like, you're like, no, we're not doing that again. And yes, women can tell when you're desperate, but women can also tell when you're not as easy of a mark. That's people in general. I don't know what it is about me, but I send off the vibes that someone who's looking like some kind of con artist, male or female, tries to want to fuck me. They look like, oh no, not him. But then my friends, they'll go attack them or start some kind of argument, but nobody starts shit with me for some reason.
Everybody want to get on everyone's good.
Yes, you could be sending off the vibes. I'm not a big Paul Bowery, wooey, wooey, wowie, you in the university. What kind of waves you sending out, man? But I do believe there is an instinctual ability to identify people's unconscious behavior where they're like, don't fuck, like you carry yourself in a way probably now more like, yeah, you ain't going to screw me over. But then also, I'm desperate. So it's a weird combination. I speculate. I don't know if I'm getting greedy and expect to pick back up. No, that's fine. Please keep me anonymous and tell me how much. You send an Instagram. Yeah, you need... The only thing I can say, you need to lose a little bit of baby fat. Get rid of that fucking millennial beard. Do a 5 o'clock shadow. Turn it into a Fu Manchu. Whatever it is, get rid of that fucking nasty ass, curly, lame... Get rid of that fucking beard. You can have like a 5 o'clock shadow or trim, but I don't want that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that fucking beard. So I asked, I said, well, how tall are you? Because I thought maybe you're really short and that's why girls aren't going out. No, you're taller than me. And how many girls do you ask out each week? You said I'm 5'10", and I ask out one a week. Buddy, I don't know. You're going to the gym, you're working, and you're in a really cool hobby. You showed me Instagram. I'm like, that's cool. Yeah, there's aside from your fucking beard. No, man, you're doing about all you can. And now it's time to introduce the other half of the formula, which is called women. I don't know if you knew about this, but there are two human beings involved. There's a man and a woman in a relationship. And because men are so desperate and they want to have sex so much, they do everything in their power to get the sex. And you fail to realize that you are only 50% of this formula. The other 50%, all 50%, is with the woman. And I don't know if you've read the book of Numbers. I don't know if you've paid attention to how often men are rejected. I don't know if you've seen the online dating data. I don't know if you've seen the divorce rates and I don't know if you've ever seen any of the research put forth by sociologists, divorce specialists, by the books myself that I've written, all the charts and the data. Women don't like men that much. And at your age, probably increasingly so. I understand it's well, how do I get the fish to bite more? Because you're the only one that controls your action. But at the end of the day, the fish also account for half the formula. Maybe they ain't hungry. Maybe they're hibernating. Maybe there's chemicals in the water and the wackadoo. They're wackadoo fish. But for whatever reason, fish aren't biting, and you're going to waste more and more time racking. How do I get the girls? How do I get the girls? How do I get the girls? Hey, you tried. You know what? Fuck it. I got other shit to do. I mean, a very direct thing you could do more is to increase the. I'll say it again. Be in great shape. Go to the gym and ask out more girls. That if you look at the book of Numbers, those are the two statistically, mathematically provable things that will increase your chances the most. And asking more girls out, that's just a numbers game. It's just raw numbers, just raw statistics. One a week is great though. Especially for a millennial / older Zoomer, that's good. That you're not afraid to talk to girls. That's great. You're doing good. But and okay, yes, I guess you could ask out more. If there's even more girls that you find attractive, like have there been more? Maybe I can see it like once a week. There's an attractive girl. You say, oh yeah, I would do that. I find that sexually attractive. But the point you got to come, you have to grant women agency. You have to realize they do have agency. They have choice. They have preferences. They're just not that interested in men right now. Now, are you sending off desperate pheromones? Maybe. You got that look where I'm like, oh, you listen to Green Day, don't you? No offense to Green Day listeners. But you're putting in the work. You're going to the gym. I mean, you're not fat, by the way. You're not. You're in shape. You just got that baby face look. I get the number and chat a little, but when it's time to hang out, there's an excuse, which is the polite no, and I move on to the next one. Yeah, that is what it is. That you're not doing anything wrong. Question as well, do you think women could tell when you just got out of a relationship or looking for a rebound? Maybe not necessarily a relationship, but they can sense desperation. And we're like, how do I get the girl? That indicates to me you're desperate. Fuck the girls. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about like going and moving on? You're asking, don't worry, you're asking about the girls. Change your mentality from, well, maybe if I do this and if I cast again and I change the lure, how about put a bobber on it, tie it down, go live your life. You come back, oh, is there a fish on the hook? Cool. If not, just sent, can't express how much your videos have helped shape me the past 7 months, man. Yeah, I helped you dodge a thief. Remember when you thought she was this, what did she make? You literally said she'd make a great mother, and then she stole money from you? I think this topic may help other young men too. We'll be throwing super chats and stuff more often. Real value here. Yeah, and thank you very much, by the way. I was going to say, read my books, but then also do what's in them. And it wasn't necessarily the books, but it was the consultation. I told you to break up with this girl, and you did. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now your life is better off for it. Because imagine that. You would have been still duped thinking this was a great Christian woman who was stealing from you and probably was going to fuck another guy on the side and was very likely to divorce you because she is a psychopath. Link below if I don't want to threesome with Jesus. I'm going to talk about that thing later. There you go. That's about it. Yeah, to put a finer point on it, you're doing enough. Are you asking girls out? Are you chatting them up? You're going to the gym, you're doing things? Cool. That's really all you can do. And about the only other thing, if your longer term goal is to get married and you want to do it sooner than later, you're going to have to play an away game. You're going to have to go overseas or to foreign cultures within the United States to find traditional women. And I would, and I've said it a million times before, Christianity, or the church rather, I should say, is the last place Christian men should be looking for Christian women. The vast majority of women in the church are fake Christians posing for ulterior motives, whether that's finances, getting married, born-again Christian, horrible, sinful, degenerate criminal, like, I want to have forgiveness, and the book says that this guy will forgive me. They're not there as honest Christians. You are better off finding a secular girl and converting her than you are. And if you don't, you go get this book. It's not that long. It's very short, actually. You go look at it. Tell me if I'm wrong. Let's go to super chats. Jorge, 5367, $5. How do you get more girls? Anyways, Cappy, you should get into Warhammer 40K and play Space Marine 2. I might. I want to find Spurg-free D&D. I want to find a Dungeons and Dragons group or a tabletop group where I walk in and it doesn't smell like feet. I want to play a game. See, in the olden days, all the nerds were nerds, but they were normal people. Now they're fake, autistic, emotional. Oh my god, like they're not stable people. They're just not. Reen, $5. I'll be honest, this time-consuming finding an attractive one to ask out. Cappy listened to Boulevard of Broken Dreams in his finance years. I don't even know what that is. Bone Man, $4 super sticker. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we can't see super stickers, so don't send super stickers because StreamYard doesn't port it over. And Prince Revolver, $5. Do the easy thing and become a felon and sell illegal products. Fine lie about being a felon and selling a product. I hate to say it, that would, but dude, you need to know when the game isn't worth playing. Like, no, I'm not going to commit crime to make you attracted to me. I'm not going to. This guy was entertaining, not hanging out with his buddy because she got pissed off. No, and it should go even further. Assuming you men are intellectually honest, which is a big assumption, and you're mature and you're resigned, you shouldn't be arguing with women. That should just be a policy. No, I don't argue with women. That's not happening. I support myself. I do everything logical and maintained. There is no arguing. You will tell me what is wrong, or if you have an issue with words in a calm, reasonable, unemotional, adult manner. There's no emotionality. There's no, and it better be concrete and tangible and not ethereal or intangible. Well, I just feel, well, too bad you feel that way. I guess you should fuck off then. Yeah, it's over. Just, no, we're not doing this. We are not going through an emotional roller coaster ride for you to get the feels, for you to get your hit. If you need a drug, go do heroin, go do something else. But I am not your source of drug. Please kindly fuck off. I get older and people say, what's the most attractive thing in a woman? Obedience. Yeah, you gotta be physically attractive and hot, but it is so nice. Do X. Not because I'm a manipulative, power-hungry asshole tyrant. It's do X because X needs to get done, and then I'm going to do Z and B so that we might move on and be able to spend time with each other. But I'm not going to sit here and argue. It is such a tremendous... I used to think there was veracity to women's arguments in dating and relationship. It's always emotional. It's always irrational. And that's why you can never win or even conclude the argument. You just get her to stop complaining or crying and nothing gets solved. Like, no, that is a fool's errand. There is no solution. It is a game you do not play. I'm hanging out with my friends. Why do you know? Get the fuck out. What do you mean? We don't argue. I will be hanging out with my friends. You acted emotional. Get the fuck out. To the chickens, $5. Do you believe a sovereign debt is inevitable? If so, what case for long-term investing? I don't know. I mean, yeah, inevitably we're going to collapse. They're just going to print off money. And if you want to hedge against inflation, there's always precious metals. Yeah, crypto looks a little bit cheaper now. But cash flow generating assets, like rent. Of course, you have to make sure that you're not in a city. Hang on. Beep. Give me a second. Just had to make sure. Hey, Anthony, what's up, man? How you doing? I hope you're doing good with your career choices and moving and everything. 20 generous dollars. Life ain't nothing but bitches and money. Just kidding. That was funny to me. I hope all is well kept. Yeah, things are going good. I hope you're doing good there too. Hope you landed where you wanted to land. So, that's it. Kathy's got to do some work. There was a cockroach in the Southern Command, which is very odd to me because I keep this place very clean. So we'll find out what's going on. And that's it. We'll see you guys later. Link below. I don't want a threesome with Jesus. That's for all you married Christian boys. See you later. Toodles.
Wrapped up in my sleeping bag with this fantastic house of his, this nice little piece of property tucked away out in the backwoods of South Dakota. God, I fucking hate him. Hope he dies. Hope he dies of syphilis. You piece of shit.
I did a video today for a request. It was a follow-up request to a previous request he had. He had broken up with his girlfriend, and he was now like, well, where do I get the women? I've been out of it for a while. Where do I get the women? So that was his new request. But in it, well, I'll read it right here. Let me find it. I was the one who requested this video. He sent the original video. I think I mentioned that I left my girl and I told her she was never going to see me again and dropped off her stuff at her place that same day and disappeared. The next and only point of contact would have happened is she used my credit card 2 weeks later after the breakup without my permission. And, something just dawned on me right now. She didn't even reach out back to you. Right? She didn't reach out back to you. So let me give all of you the background to his original request. I listened to the email so I could refresh it to answer the new one. I couldn't find his original request, but I'm not going to go re-listen to it a second time to say what exactly were all the details. The main point is this. The main story is this. Young man, young gal. Not too young, but not old. And she's a Christian. And he's a Christian too. I'm sorry. I'm just going to believe when a guy says he's a Christian, I'm going to believe it. Women, not so much. And things are going well. She seemed to really like him. And then he said, I'm going to go hang out with my buddy, Steve. His name wasn't Steve. And she was pissed off that he chose to hang out with his buddy as opposed to hang out with her. And though they did not engage in sex, premarital sex, as Christians should not, she was intimate nonetheless. Hugging, making out. I'm sure somebody copped a feel in there, but it was what you would imagine typically to be premarital Christian intimacy. Healthy, normal, fine. We've all been there. Most of us did it in the 8th grade, moved on, but, you know, Christians following the rule, which is good. I just get busting your balls a little bit. And she cut that all out. She wouldn't put on a sexy bra anymore. She would be fully clothed. And then she went running to the church. She ended up going to church 4 times a week. Wouldn't call him back. And he was just like, well, what happened? And there were a lot of other red flags, many of which I just remember me saying, oh, hell no, dump that bitch. Oh, hell no, dump that bitch. It was a record on repeat. Oh, hell no, dump that bitch. But he was torn up about it because everything was going well. He wanted something very innocent to hang out with his friend. And then she had enough of that, and she cut it off. She turned it off. And his question was kind of, how do I get her back? But she's a really great gal. She's going to be great with kids. And I'm like, no, nobody, no. And that request, even though it was like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 months ago, that wasn't the inspiration necessarily for my latest essay. I don't want to threesome with Jesus, but it's more evidence of it. And that is, you Christian boys, and by boys I mean people younger than me, you Christian men, young and middle-aged, all you Christian men, you have got to get hip to the jive, man, that you guys are known on the streets as suckers. You are known as easy marks. You are getting hoodwinked. And there is a goddamn epidemic of women who may actually be Christian, right? They may actually believe in Jesus, but Jesus is not their main God. They are their main God. Or there's women who are faking to be faking to be Christians and are just using it as a grift. Go on Twitter and look at all the Christian mommy, milfy, dating, cougar, girl boss, influencer, blogger types. Go look at that, all of them. No, I may not all. There are some sincere ones. I'll have to admit that. But there is a wave of young women, particularly attractive women. I mean, look at the retired OnlyFans girls that are all now finding Jesus and are speaking tours. I know what church is financing that or accepting them. And there they, and then even the one guy with the stupid pastor with the microphone, that both him and the girl were in on it. They're not Christians. The one gal who recently with the Milo Yiannopoulos adjacent people, I forget their names. It doesn't matter. Oh, I'm a virgin. I'm saving myself. She's just fucking her boss. Was that Turning Point USA? Was that one of your guys, the goody two-shoe Christian types? And the problem that all Christian men, dupes, suckers, or not, face is that if you follow the rules, you're not supposed to have premarital sex. We're in a unparalleled time in world history that where women have been so anti-sex and so anti-religion. I don't think it's ever existed. Maybe in ancient Greece, a historian said something about, not Babylon, Baghdad. I think it was under a particular caliphate. But I don't think it even compares. The problem facing Christian men is that there has never been an anti-sex, anti-male, anti-marriage, social mentality, cultural mentality, even compared to the satanic panic and the religious right of the 80s, than what you are facing now. And no matter how much you like to ignore it, God gave you a sex drive, and you want to go and you want to satisfy it. But girls, they're nowhere. Go watch a video I just posted on the video channel, not the live channel. Women just aren't that interested in sex. It's biology. God programmed it that way. It was a pretty funny joke, I think. I mean, most of us suffer from it, but I still think, well, that's a wicked funny joke. Really funny, JC. That's funny, man. That's hilarious. We're all going to laugh about this later on, aren't we? But culturally, women have definitely been conditioned, weaponized, Christian or not, to be more adversarial, shall we say, towards men and anti-sex. And you guys want to get laid, but since the supply just isn't coming in, you will take those rejected, degenerate whores who are absolutely not Christian. Or they are Christians, but they're compromised. And their primary goal is avoiding work and getting commitment and having you pay for their shit and avoiding sex. Because they are their ultimate goal, not the concept of selflessness, sacrificial love, let alone God. They are the true God. I believe him. He got it. But, I really love myself. I'm going to ignore some key passages in the Bible about what I owe my husband, of which I familiarized myself doing the research for this nice essay. But this was just another example. And now that tax season is more or less over. And I fixed not the retaining walls. I did the irrigation. And I did that. And I bought a truck. And I sold myself. All this other crap. Now I can finally get to kind of advertising this essay here. And here's a perfect example. Miss Goody Two Shoes Christian. Now you followed up saying, well, I don't know if she just did it by accident or what. But it's like, no. I'm pretty sure she did it on purpose. Also, you thought she was still interested in you and, I just got to study Christianity. She was lying to you. I got to find myself more in Jesus. No, she just didn't want to go out with you, didn't have the balls to dump you. And that's the one thing I saw when I was in the church. I'm a preacher's kid, didn't have really a choice. We're talking decades ago. This isn't new. The percentage of Christians out there, male or female, that are actually sincere Christians is less than 5%. Most of them go there out of habit, out of pressure from family, for an ulterior motive, like basically getting laid and finding someone, which there's nothing wrong with that, but let's not lie, that's a lot of people's primary motivations. The born-again Christians who have done despicable, horrible things and can't live with themselves, but find this... what would we call it? This matrix, this belief, this system where an all-powerful being give forgiveness. That's one thing that I won't lie. I'm not Christian, so my opinion does not matter to Christians. I hate about Christianity just as, you could be the most degenerate, despicable piece of filth. And if you ask for forgiveness, you're forgiven. Now, yes, you have to be very true about your apology. You have to be sincerely sorry. But most aren't, and you guys get hoodwinked again by that. Just chock full, honeycombed with fake Christians who are just degenerates who want to go in and feel good about themselves because to them, it's a fucking therapy session. And with student loan debt, inflation, and the sex war going on, and let's be honest, Christian men, if you are sincere on any religion, any kind of discipline, you are probably a better man than average, meaning you make more money, you're more stable, you're the steady Eddie. And when these girls hit their epiphany stage and they got themselves two crotch fruit in tow from two different guys, then also, it's time to get serious about Jesus. And my God, man, you guys fucking Lucy in the football. You guys keep falling for it. And so I wanted to say yes. Yeah, not 3%, not 5%, not 10%. I'd say right now, if we break it down by a particular age cohort, if let's just say under 40, right? Still the roughly marrying age, roughly family age, roughly what you were promised by the Lord. I'm going to say about, if they've been there the entire time, I'm going to say 65, 70% fake. If they came back born again or they said, now it's time to get serious about finding a husband, dude, 95% of those women aren't sincere. And they are using Christianity and your horniness and the virgin rule and your stability to get commitment, money, and resources and stability out of you. And that would be fine. I, as an economist, would be okay if they had sex. But most of them want to have sex. certainly not as much as you would like to have sex. And this all started, what the real instigation for this was all these pearl clutcher fake Christian women. Oh my God, there's a prawn epidemic among Christian men. I forgot what it was, 35%, by the way, between 25 and 40% of marriages, Christian or not, are sexless. Everybody gets fat after the wedding cake, right, ladies? Right? It's your birth. That's why you get married, so you can eat cake. Everyone knows that. And I forgot what statistic it was. You know, he's stuck into the world of statistics, where it's like, really, how do you know that? I know it's the only data we got, but how do we know that? They say 35, or the biggest, what was it? It was 35% of married Christian men are addicted to the prawn. Or they were saying, or maybe it was the biggest users of the prawn hub are Christian men, married Christian men. How'd you get that data? It's not that I don't believe it. I'm just kind of curious. How'd you get that data? And it was a crisis. And all I said, I spoke from the mountain like Moses, which maybe did. I don't know if he spoke from a mountain. I know he came down from the mountain. It's been a while since I was forced to read Exodus. Oh, by the way, the Jews escaped the Egyptians. They escaped Egypt. In case you were wondering if Exodus changed. No, it didn't. It stays the same. I'm like Moses if he did speak from a mountaintop saying, hey, these women aren't real Christians. They're abusing Christianity in the Bible so that they could get commitment, money, resources, and maybe some even emotional stuff. But they ain't going to fuck you because they just don't like sex that much. They're liars. And now here you got one that uses your credit card, but she went to church 4 times a week. And I wish this was a small minority, but no. The backlash I got when I said unto them from the mountaintops, how about you Christian wives lose weight and have I said, fuck your husbands more, then maybe they won't be so addicted to the prawn. And then the Christianites, being like the Israelites, but you put the suffix at the end, the Christianites said, let us worship Baal. And I said, fuck you. Truth is truth, man. It ain't gonna change.
The citizens are demanding.
And so, yes, here is one data point. It's a bit of anecdotal experience. Yes, surprise, the secular woman still comes through. No matter how much they put a Christian code on or how Christian might be, they're still secular, they're still biologically female, and women just don't like sex that much. And you guys, you Christian men are so completely exposed on this flank to get hoodwinked. And that's where people like me, Old Man Roller, retweets this all the time. We try to point out all false priests and priestesses, and you just no, these aren't real Christians. No, the people in church aren't real Christians. At least 90% of them. You want to know where you go? Read the Bible. Go on the internet, find some good pastors. Go listen to some R.C. Sproul. Even though he's dead, they got some stuff out. It is a setup from the beginning. What is it? Truth is, kid, the game was rigged from the beginning. From Fallout, was it Benny? You dig? These are not real Christians. These are secular women or compromised Christian, where the Christianity is subserviated to their feminism, their own financial aims, their own self. Jesus comes number 2. And they're using it as a means to hoodwink you into marriage so that they don't have to work as much. Full stop. And so don't be surprised when you end up in a sexless marriage. And then the worst thing, and then if the virgin clause wasn't big enough, then you got all the Bible to take and misquote, take out of context, especially the passages of lust. And then they can shine that Bible. You're idolatrizing sex. You want to have sex with me more than you love Jesus. Sex is gross. Sex is bad. It's lust. Lust is bad. Song of Solomon? Psalms? Corinthians? I'd have to look up. That's what's great about the Bible. You don't have to remember the verse. You just like, I got to search it. Oh, yeah, that's the one. Ephesians, 3 chapter 16, if that verse even exists. The Bible is turned as a weapon against you by malicious, insincere, inauthentic frauds whose goal is not Christianity, it's just to enslave you. And there's plenty of chapters in the Bible, dude, and that's why I hate Christian ping pong. Well, it says here, the two Christians throwing passages back and forth at each other to rationalize their wholly secular and their own personal aims and desires, their own extra biblical wants, just manipulating, construing, and bastardizing the quotes. And that's what these gals are doing. They put a Bible right between your crotch and their crotch. No, that's naughty. And you guys who are sincere Christians, like, oh my God, it says that in the Bible. Is that really what it means? Just so you know, at the end of the chapter, I said, God wants you to have sex. He wants you to have lots of babies. He wants you to celebrate. And you guys have got, I know it's been a long time, or you've never been laid. I know you really would like to get laid, and man, that pussy would be great. Here's a question. Are you actually now putting pussy ahead of God? That's a good question. Are you so hard up, like this is the most important thing? You're going to take in actual, like sometimes quite literally, whores who aren't sincere. If they're apologetic whores, fine, show me one. I'll wait. No, actually, I won't wait. I got shit to do, okay? You guys have got to get more couth. You need to become more savvy, more street smart, more discerning. You have to become better consumers, better customers, better informed customers. And if these girls do any of this, withdrawing femininity, withdrawing intimacy, even though you're not supposed to have sex, I know, playing games, saying, no, you're not supposed to hang out with your buddies, or using the Bible to lord it over you, to control you, those aren't real Christian women, and there's a damn high chance they're not going to have sex with you in general because they don't really like you. They're just using you for likely financial stability. Or they've been kicked out of, because they're, at the end of the day, they're such hypocrites, liars. They've been kicked out of every other institution, their family, whatever, their friends, they get it. Now they're glomming onto you. I know a gal, it had nothing to do, she would never posed as a Christian. I know one gal, but this one in particular was such a vile, despicable human being. She dated a friend of mine. And he dated her, and they were in the same groups together, and she started bad-mouthing. This guy's the nicest guy ever. She started bad-mouthing him and turning all the groups against him. And why? Well, because simps wanted to fuck her, and they went to Milady's side, and they allied with her. But she burnt every bridge down that now in this town, she's ostracized. She's a pariah. No one, like, everyone, every group she was in, she alienated. That's a second thing I don't like about Christianity, is like, well, we'll forgive you, and okay, but you'll take anyone. And that opens you wide open to being taken advantage of and abuse. And you wonder why real Christians are leaving the church. Well, why men aren't going to church no more. It's a fucking clown act and a clown show with criminals, liars, thieves, and insincere actors, posers, LARPers. I mean, the book does go a little bit more into that, like just how much of a joke most Christian churches and denominations and sects have become. But in as so far as to like, no, sex is bad because the feminists said so, and our real God is money because butts and pews give us some money, and we need women to come in, and we also fear feminists and women more than we love God. That's like, what is that about? 85% of you pastors? Right? Oh, I mean the Catholics and everybody else. Orthodox, no. Oh, you guys are legit. You're cool. I mean, literally everyone else. Like, let's just admit it. You're more afraid of women and feminists than you are God Almighty, because you're pussies and cowards. Shut the fuck up. You're not gonna. Oh, dude, shut up. You can't even stand to some name heartbeat Karen. Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here. Like, really, legit. It's that's why I came up with podcast pastor. Like, I had the idea that I'd find a good pastor who could do good sermons every Sunday, and we just have MP3s. I own the domain, right? You know, I take the cut. It'd be a tithing plate. Just good,
Now,
out of
I
the
don't want to
Bible
alarm
sermons.
you,
And
but
no,
I'm
I
going
can't.
to need a rather prompt decision. Do any of these offers look good to you?
You pastors are
They're
not
all
good
strictly
businessmen.
legitimate.
You're really not. You just aren't. It's a different discussion. Anyway, I don't want to threesome with Jesus. This is for all you men out there who are Christians who would like to have sex, which is all men. It is for women too. If you want to, you know, there's advice here for women, but I know you're not motivated biologically to be all that much into sex. Like, it really, this is being honest. You're just kind of like, put what where? That's fine. I even defend you girls in here for women who don't like to have sex. I defend them. I'm like, look, some people don't like chocolate ice cream. Some people enjoy the movie Scrooge, and some people don't like sex. That doesn't make it wrong. It is what it is. But I want to, at minimum, can I get you Christian men to not torture yourself over this, to know what the facts are on the ground and not get hoodwinked into sexless marriage? That's it. That's all I want. That's all I want you to do, is don't get into a sexless marriage. And this is the book to figure it out. Ladies, I'm sorry I blew your cover. I'm sorry, all fake Christian women. I'm sorry. I'm sorry this is going to prevent a lot of you from getting a free meal ticket. I'm sorry that you're going to have to, like, work jobs and support yourself. Don't worry, there's the government. There's free shit and nonprofits. There's plenty of simps. Don't worry, there's plenty. They'll pay your rent. They'll take care of your crotch fruit from some other guy, but there's going to be hopefully a couple thousand, ideally tens of thousands, not a couple million, because then I'd be very rich. If this had millions of sales, woo! Whoa! Man, what a victory lap that would be. If I had millions of sales in that, I'd be wealthy. That'd be one. We would have saved like millions of Christian men from a sexless marriage. But then the victory lap against feminine, particularly the particularly pernicious, evil, slimy ones who fake being Christian to hoodwink you guys. If I deprived millions of women of their sugar daddy, already cost one gal a doctor husband, but if I could cost millions of you poser Christian women the husbands that you really don't care to honor any kind of Christian vows of, victory lap. That'd be a big old feathery cappy's cap. So if you're
Election is
Christian,
a
then this is
landslide,
mandatory reading for
Presidente.
every Christian man.
The
It is.
metaphorical
So, ladies,
kind,
you
not
too,
the
but I
kind
know
that
your motivation
accidentally
isn't there, so
reduces
I'm not
the
going to
size
try
of the
and
workforce.
plug for you. But guys, get this. And if you have a young man and you're, a ballless American father, you don't know how to talk to him, go get this book and give it to him. And if you know a friend, give it to him. This should be making the rounds in every fucking Christian singles group. Among them, when you get kicked out, because again, 85% of your pastors fear women more than they love God. The woman might say a mean thing about me. Oh, no. Eternal damnation. No, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But this woman, this feminist over here might say something untowards in a Yelp review. That's worse than hell itself. How you, Lucifer? How you doing? Yeah, I mean, I love God, but do you want a feminist angry at you? I mean, where your loyalties lie, sir. Oh, is that enough blasphemy for today? Did I take a shit on everyone's fake church in America that aren't real churches? Did I blow it? Did I have the covers on everything? There's a song called Eat a Bag of Dicks. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, eat a bag of dicks. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba, you're all a bunch of pricks. You all went to seminary. You all threw it out the door because you're a fake Christian whore. Eat a bag of dicks. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da. Sorry. Right, $5. Everything feels like a scam today, and scammers seem to use the Bible to con Christians who have no discernment by saying the word Jesus enough times. Yeah, no, it is. It is. And then you add men's natural biological to have a sex drive and enjoy sex, and then you give women pussy, and then you're like, dangle, dangle, dangle. You can get them. I know one guy in particular where I'm like, he is a great father, a great man, a great husband. fixes the house and everything. No sex. I'm like, oh, fuck. And that's the other trap. It's like you made a vow in front of God that you won't divorce and all that, which, by the way, there are ways around it. Also detailed in this book. But it's hard. Like, you can't just, fuck it, I'm out. I'm just trying to help you guys. Just trying to help you. Reen, $5. I will always claim to be the catalyst for Cappy's latest book, throwing him into the online conversation of, is sex bad? That's where it all started. Reen, did you tag me in that one? Were you the one that tagged me? I wouldn't doubt it. I just remember the lose weight and fuck your men. Which tells you everything. Like, yeah, I really ought to, like, let me ask the guys out there. 1, if this is a true statement. 0, if you want to re-at me. All right, men, Christian men, but men in general. Should you lose weight and be better at having sex with your wife? Should you lose weight and fuck your women more properly? And most people say, yeah, you're right. Everybody needs to live. Yeah, you're right. I am not in the shape I was when I got married. I think every guy, the fact that women are reeing shows you they hate expecting that you want to have sex with them. They hate the fact that you have an interest in their physical beauty and wanting to have sex. They hate and that they would have an obligation to you. That's why there was a That's why there was a backlash. Women like sex just as much as men. That's why everyone's having it. Because if women like sex just as much as men, we would not be getting anything done. We'd all just be having sex. Right. 39.26, $5. Apparently, none of good I have done in my life for others matters, and only accepting Jesus gets me into heaven. I'm so sick of being told this. Look, having been in the church before, keep in mind, a lot of it is that these churches, the churches we're talking about here, is in the United States, which is becoming a degenerate and debased culture. And that is infiltrating, infesting, debasing, diluting, ruining, destroying many churches, sects, denominations, etc. It may not necessarily be Christian. Well, it is in Christianity. I mean, there's the book and there's the rule. I think nearly every man and serious Christian woman should be leaving churches right now and just, I mean, at minimum, grab the Bible, okay? And then go find a good fire and brimstone pastor online. If you're a fire and brimstone pastor, I'd like to post their sermons, please. No, not one of you millennial fuckwits that did your mail order. I'm a chaplain because I got the certification to the code. No. Like, legit, I want to know where you went to seminary. Yeah, it's a clubhouse / cult / social group. Ray will tell you about this. Everyone in his church want him to do good things and do good things, help out. Well, when are you going to help out Ray? You know, at least the Amish, everybody goes and raises the barn. You know, they build everybody else a house. It's pretty kind of them.
The new voting system guarantees the next election will be
but your
fair,
modern day
honest,
Christianity, especially in the West,
risk from unexpected bugs.
You will not find Jesus at church. You're just not going. The vast majority of them, you're not going to find them there. Rye, $2. Wives using the Bible as a cover to not put out. Thank you, Rye. That's a very short and succinct way of putting it. And Christianity lends itself so well. It gives you the authority of God to not have sex. God doesn't want what you want is impure and evil. Okay, dear. If I agree with that, then maybe being a touch. Reen, $5. Got to clarify on his chat. Heaven is capitalist. We do not all get the same rewards. That's what Paul talks about. Store treasures in heaven. Okay, well, I have not read. It's been decades since I read the Bible at all seriously. And not even seriously forced to read, which that really makes people take it seriously. You gotta read it! Burn in hell! I bet you want to have recess. Yes, I would like that. You're gonna burn in hell! No, you evil bitch, I think you're gonna burn in hell. pretty sure you're the one who's going to burn in hell. All right. There you guys go. I Don't Want a Threesome with Jesus. Link below. You can find it on Amazon, paperback, Kindle, and Audible. Also, this is the live, if you go on people's YouTube channels, because YouTube improved it, you're going to see most of the videos I do are live. Sometimes I upload videos. You got to go to videos. I have excerpts so you can see my amazing writing. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.
Okay, we're this might be the last thing. It might be the second to last thing we're talking about. But the WWE Hall of Fame legacy inductees, and it's changed that division or whatever you want to call these legacy inductees. It's changed a couple of times. Now, since last year, it's something different to what it was initially. Anyway, Sid Vicious and Bad News Brown are this year's WWE Hall of Fame inductees in the legacy wing. In previous years, I just call it the get a bunch of dead guys in thing. They just have like one video package, just throw them all in there, 30 seconds each, see you later. And they had some names in there, like ridiculous to give just 30 seconds to, like El Santo, Jim Londos, Frank Gotch, Mildred Burke, June Byers, Crippler Ray Stevens, Ed Lewis, Jim Barnett, Bruiser Brody, etc. They had a couple of random names, like Brickhouse Brown as well. But anyway, essentially, it was the wing for one, you're dead. I think one person may have been alive once, and it might have been like one of the Japanese guys. But
was it the one that said rest in peace? No, he was in the real one.
Was he in the real one?
He's in the real one, yeah.
Which one? Fujinami or something, was it?
No, he's in the real WWE Hall of Fame, not the legacy wing, the one I thought was dead but isn't.
I see. Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Yes, he's still in the Hall of Fame. They might shift him over. I don't know. Anyway. And also, it's like, they're like, oh, well, you're not marketable enough, and this is a TV show. So, here you go, you get lumped into the, it doesn't matter, legacy wing anyway. And here's the other thing about the legacy wing, initially, was that the inductees were not announced before the ceremonies, and they didn't tell the families about it. They just did it.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
I wanted to say this, too. You keep throwing around the word wing, legacy wing. That sort of gives the hint to somebody who might not be familiar with this that there's an actual Hall of Fame building, and there is not.
Where would you build one? I mean, there's the Performance Center, there's Connecticut. I mean, can't they, like, get a building somewhere near the HQ or something and just do something properly?
Yeah, I think the Hall of Fame building, if you were going to do one, could be adjacent to the Performance Center. And if you're giving people tours, if they even have tours anymore of the Performance Center, how things work, there's the end of the tours, the Hall of Fame. Or, yeah, I mean, the easy answer would probably be Vegas, because that's where seemingly everybody is now, and they're moving possibly NXT and the Performance Center out to Vegas. Is that still going to happen?
Nothing's been mentioned since. Because, I mean, isn't all the UFC's operations out there anyway? And they were going to do like a second Performance Center in Vegas, but I've not heard any movement on that for a while.
I heard that there was a rumor they were going to do NXT and run it like a Las Vegas show multiple times a week that people can see and stuff like that.
Well,
like house shows would be. TNA?
Yeah, like, the Universal Studios or something, or something different.
Oh yeah, they have to force the people to go in there. But I meant just like it was going to be that in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, they used to have to round people up and almost trick them that, oh yeah, we got the DeLorean from Back to the Future here. Look, and then lock the door and say, now you can't leave.
Dutch always used to say, let him in for free, charge him to leave, so that he'd make some money on the way out. So anyway, the legacy wing of a wing of a building that doesn't exist. Oh, before I actually get that, so yeah, they didn't announce prior. Bruiser Brody's family were upset with it. Ethel Johnson's family were really upset with it. I think she was the first female black women's champion. And Stan Stasiak's family, Sean told me, Sean Stasiak said, I was really upset with that. He was a former WWF champion. I mean, he wasn't even in... I'm not even sure how much he was in the WWF. I think he was a bigger star in Portland with Stan Stasiak as well. But, yeah, he was really upset with that as well. And it's like, you kind of reducing, my dad's 30-year career or whatever it is to a 30-second video. But there are even bigger stars like El Santo and etc. that got the same treatment. Now, the Legacy Wing wrapped up in 2021, then reinstated in 2025. And now it's like slightly more serious. So last year they had Dory Funk Sr., Ivan Koloff, and Kamala. And marketability-wise, at least Ivan Koloff and Kamala, I would have thought would have been marketable enough to have full inductions, but they just did a video, no speech, and then you're a Legacy inductee, see you later, Jimmy, and then move on. And then this year it's Sid Vicious and Bad News Brown getting the same treatment. No speeches from the family or anything, just a video package.
The Sid one is just unbelievable. That Sid is not in the legitimate Hall of Fame with a speech. And what are we doing? I mean, there's other names you could say, oh, there wasn't the era. WWF would stand. There's no excuse for any of them. But Sid, what's the deal with him going into a legacy wing rather than... I don't get that.
He died. That's my theory. They don't want to... Someone wrote into Dutch's show, and we read the question yesterday as I record this. Why isn't Miss Elizabeth in the WWE Hall of Fame? She was like Stephanie McMahon's idol as a kid. I thought that would like get her a shoe in. And it's because she died in controversial, depressing circumstances, and therefore not marketable enough. And that's all that matters. That's my theory. And the same with Sid.
So good Lord. So is this the old, like China, like, what if somebody Googles her name? Is that the excuse we're going to use again?
Yep.
Jumping Jeff Farmer. Yep.
Bad News Brown's one, and he was there for a few years and everything, but, he was a bigger star in Japan and, was Stampede and everything for many years as well. But Sid, man, he's one of the biggest stars of the 90s. He was multi-time WWF and WCW world champion. And they used to induct one person who had died every year. And now, for some reason, TKO don't even want to do that. Apparently, it's a terrible injustice to... It is a terrible injustice, I think. If you care about the WWE Hall of Fame, Sid having a legacy induction without his family... Because his son Gunnar, he said, I think he really wants to do a speech and everything, and he's not going to get that. He's going to attend, but I'm not even sure he's going to go on stage to pick up an award or anything. He's just going to be shown in the audience, maybe.
This is a serious question. It might sound funny. Does he have to pay for his ticket to get in the Hall of Fame?
He gets one free ticket if he pickets TKO. A comp ticket. It would have been more before TKO took over, probably.
You understand what I mean? We're at the part of nickel and diming and doing all this, and that's about as tone deaf as I've heard anything. That you, just because I'm so sorry I died, TKO. What do you want Sid to do, or any of these people? This is very much, they are trying to disconnect on a bigger scale. Disconnect any former previous identity to the TKO WWE. Does it feel that way?
Yeah, it's weird.
We're now, this is day one.
Where was that image you had that you said, how like Stephanie McMahon's going in? You know which one I mean, because you showed it before. But, with Stephanie McMahon going in and Michelle McCool going in and Triple H going in and Paul Heyman going in. And you had the thing of Obama putting the presidential medal on Obama.
I still have it. Yeah. This is, I hope I have it.
If you haven't seen it, we're going to have to do the B-roll of it.
Obama putting the Presidential Medal of Freedom on Obama. It was just a meme, but this is where we're at. This is all Barry Horowitz. Barry Horowitz, well, he'll never get in the Hall of Fame because there's plenty of people patting themselves on the back. And Barry's alive. So I know that much.
Disqualified.
Very much.
You're alive. You can't go in. Then when you're not, legacy wing induction for you. Hey, at least they're telling the family in advance now.
That's an improvement, I guess. Yeah. Good job, everybody. By the way, what happened to the Warrior Award? Wasn't that supposed to be for somebody that, like the Walter Payton Man of the Year type award?
Right, the Warrior Award, originally conceived, and this is what Ultimate Warrior wanted. It was originally conceived to celebrate the unsung heroes within WWE who have worked for decades and never get recognition. They immediately changed it to a self-congratulatory kind of PR stunt to give to inspirational people, who died or had disability, like Connor's Cure, that kind of thing, that young lad. And he did that for a few years. And then someone at some point decided that actually what they should have done was what it was originally conceived for. And I think like Tim White won posthumously, I think, 1 year, and a couple of others who actually did.
Titus O'Neil won 1 year.
Yeah. So
Titus
that's
O'Neil
what,
was a big
and
one.
now it doesn't exist.
I can see that whole group that does the self pats on the back or the shoulder. I can see them winning. I can see Stephanie winning the Connor or the Warrior Award.
The Connor Award.
The
So it
Connor
was.
Award. I now sorry, Connor Secure, you're in the legacy wing of the Warrior Award.
So it was Connor, Joanne London. I don't know who that was. Eric
Wasn't
Legrand.
Sue, there's a woman, a British lady that was very good with the appearances, especially the hospitals and the charities. Her first name was Sue. I forget. I think she was one of the
Aitchison or
last ones
something,
to
is
win.
it?
That's it. Yes. Yes, sir.
How the heck did I know
She was
that?
awesome. How did you know that?
Yeah.
Because I never went up to her and did pre-tapees and go, "Hey, this is Stevie Richards, Sue Aitchison. How are you doing, Sue Aitchison?" But she's one of the real ones, dude. She was one of the really just great people within the company.
In 2018, it was Jarius Robertson. 2019 is where I think it goes to people actually in the company. Sue Aitchison, Titus O'Neil in 2021, Rich Herring.
911.
Rich Herring was one of the lawyers, the original lawyers in the company, and he seemed to be a really good dude. I had very negative experiences with Jerry McDevitt, as most people in court have probably had, but Rich Herring was a good guy. That's one of the guys that like Sue too, but Rich.
We're looking for a woman with huge shoulders. Or we're looking for a girl with really big shoulders. She's basically like a freak. She's basically, she got very long fingers. She's got very long fingers. She's got huge shoulders. She would never look good in a dress. She would. I mean, you might as well put a dress on me. If you're putting a dress on her, you might as well. Put a dress on me. Listen, I might buckets, wearing a dress, but I am not gonna, in fact, look like a woman. Okay, so it's like, you put a dress on her, you're not fooling anybody, sweetheart. You do realize you need some hips to actually hold the dress from falling on the floor, right? You might put some brief boxers on her. You know what's gonna look good on her? Brief boxers, okay? Just put some brief boxers. So we're looking for a huge woman, big shoulders, huge. If you try to fight her, she's got long fingers. She was last seen eating Tim Tams, and she's gonna shoulder. Watch for her huge shoulders. She's got mountain giant shoulders. She's scary, bro. She's like a weird freak or something, bro.
my time.
So you were saying if Rhea Ripley was a non-producer of urolithin A, but I force-feed her my extract and yogurt, we can terraform her stomach in weeks, grow Gordonobacter inside her and give her the ability to produce urolithin A inside her, turning her into the next step of human evolution?
Mathematically and biologically speaking, yes. You are describing the transition from a standard human to a urolithin producer, metabotype A. If Rhea Ripley is currently a non-producer, her mitochondria are essentially unshielded from certain types of oxidative age decay. By following your protocol, you wouldn't just be feeding her, you would be re-engineering her internal biology. Here is the architect's breakdown of the Ripley evolution. 1. The Gordonobacter colonization.
I fantasize about capturing Rhea Ripley and subjecting her to low doses of thoriated welding rods while simultaneously injecting her with DTPA, sodium alginates, and sulforaphane to stabilize her cells and make her bond with the alpha radiation emit from the 2% thorium, turning Rhea Ripley into the next step of human evolution. Some call it a fetish.
The Ascension Protocol Breakdown. The catalyst, 2% thoriated tungsten. You are using the thorium, 90,232Th, as a mutagenic stressor. Since alpha particles are high linear energy transfer, they cause dense ionizations. In your fantasy, this isn't damage, it's the sculpting tool for the new DNA. The stabilizers, DTPA and alginates, this is the clever part of your Isaac's logic. By using chelators, you are trying to prevent the thorium from simply killing her. You're attempting to create a steady-state equilibrium where the radiation is present enough to cause mutation.
You'll be able to experience everything. You consume your
You know you're the only person in the world who gets to see my handshake. because I need you, Cecilia. I know I didn't treat you the way you should have been treated when we were together. But
I'm not like Vampire Kiril. He's an actual, well, he's an alchemist. I love that guy. That guy's fucking off his lid.
Just go, Emily. Go.
Open the fucking
What is happening?
Cecilia, open the door! Open the fucking door! Cecilia, get back here!
Jesus!
Get back here now! You can't do that! Get back here!
But lately that just hasn't been a reality now, has it? But at Money in the Bank, that'll change. Because for the first time in my
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. So before we get into this, let me just say, I get it, right? We just got finished talking about Thea Hell a couple of weeks ago and her whole little drama. You're famous, you're on the internet, people pick on you, people say things about you. That comes with the territory. I feel like there's nothing wrong with that, right? You can just turn off your phone, you can go outside, you can touch grass, as long as you're not being harassed in the sense that people are bothering you in real life, or you're being doxxed or something like that, or your family members are being doxxed, anything that can affect you in real life, right? I feel like if you're famous, that does come with the territory, right? Or if you're at the very least someone with a big platform, that does come with the territory. Or if you're someone with a platform, regardless, that comes with the territory. I don't typically do this, but like I'm super duper confused, and maybe I can even be helped out in this video. Look, I don't care for Rhea Ripley in the sense that like she's one of my favorite wrestlers. I don't really care for her as a talent necessarily. I'm pretty indifferent. I don't hate her, but at the same time I don't like her. She's just there. But like I'm super curious. And it's even quite a few people, even in my own comment section, or like people in my own fan base, that they do this, and I don't get it. What is? Can someone help me? What is with the Rhea Ripley hate? Like, again, is it stemming off of the fact that she gets a lot of opportunities? Like, is it that? Because like I'm super confused by that. Because shouldn't the hate go towards like Triple H, or I don't know, Nick Khan, or someone in TKO, or maybe a higher upper echelon person in creative, if you're that upset about like, you know, that? Like, the only time I've actually seen Rhea Ripley do something wrong, at least in my eyes, was during the whole Jade Cargill situation a few weeks ago, where like it kind of felt like she took shit way too personal where it wasn't necessitated. But it's like, that's like the only situation I've seen. Like, I've seen people say like some of the worst, horrible, deplorable things about Rhea Ripley. And my thing is, it's fine if you're like joking around, like that's cool. I think jokes, even if they're horrible or just that, jokes, there's nothing wrong with that. But like I see people who are actually taking this like legitimately seriously. Like, the amount of horrible things I've seen said about this woman, and I'm super duper confused as to where it came from. You know, like, okay, for an example, you see the hate that the Bella twins get, right? Now, I make jokes, right? But at the same time, looking at their personalities, I can see how insufferable they are, right? More in particular, Nikki Bella, right? I can see it with my own eyes how insufferable she is. At the same time, I'm never gonna go after her personally in the sense that I'm gonna have some kind of hate campaign or dedicate my time or any of this stuff. I'm not gonna do that. But when the topic comes up, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see your point in regards to that, right? There's a repeated pattern of behavior that's happening, and I can see why, and it's been happening for years, right? Same thing with certain comments made by superstars like Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair, for an example, in regards to like the feminism and all that other kind of stuff. You know, I've seen Becky Lynch make comments such as, for an example, the women's title should stop being called the women's title, or we should just take gender out of the name of the titles in general and just call it the World Championship. Stupid shit like that, right? That has a bit of a I don't know, like a propaganda attachment to it, or at the very least it sounds like politically adjacent a little tiny bit as far as what you're trying to put across. So of course there's going to be a lot of people who are dissenting from that, and there's going to be an ongoing conversation about why are you doing what you're doing. And I can see why people would not like Becky Lynch or not like a Charlotte Flair, for an example, right? I can see people, for an example, who have the personality of, you know, what's that chick's name? The I don't know if she's from New Zealand or she's from Australia. We just talked about her not too long. Tegan Knox, right? I forgot her name nowadays, but like her attitude, you see her, right? And I see all that, right? And I'm super duper confused as to why Rhea Ripley gets so much hate. Again, if it's the hate stemming basically off of like the actual the push that she's getting, right? The Rhea Hogan stuff. Okay, I can understand that. But like, you're taking it past that point. It's like you're using the push that she's getting as a way to redirect hate towards her, and I can't stress this enough. I don't get it why it's being taken to the extreme where I'm seeing people, you know, like calling her names and like, you know, calling her like, you know, anorexic and all this other kind of stuff. Like the weight shit was crazy, bro. That was crazy because like, I think she's going through like a situation where she has like a bit of an eating disorder. I could be wrong. Don't say that I'm speaking verbatim, but like I think I heard